Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which I had no idea about.
Brittney Griner is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants.
After her attack on Caitlin Clark, disturbing medical information surfaced, sending Brittney Griner into full-blown panic mode. The WNBA and other organizations have been rocked by the doctor's discoveries. Everything we believed we knew about this topic is altered by what they found. The league is in a panic. Griner says nothing, and the truth is at last being revealed.
Caitlin Clark. Now, Brittney Griner literally represents the woke trifecta in sports. She is black, she is gay, and she is a woman.
What the doctors disclosed about Griner, or the WNBA's total silence regarding these medical discoveries, is more alarming. For reasons that go far beyond her racist tirade on Caitlin Clark, Brittney Griner is in great terror as the WNBA world has just entirely turned upside down. Medical experts have come forward with shocking information. They're turning Griner's remarks on the garbage white girl into kindergarten banter. Not only is Griner's and the league office's silence odd now, it is outright incriminating.
Point though, I think it is important. If the inverse had been said by a white person, just imagine the outrage that would be taking place right now. There is just so much hypocrisy in every institution, but particularly the WNBA, who are very fond of virtue signaling. But even when it comes to Brittney's exchange for like the Merchant of Death, which is insane, by the way. But had that been just like a straight white girl, my guess is that straight white girl would probably still be rotting.
Let's begin by discussing the actual events of that now famous game. After giving Clark an elbow in what can only be called a willful assault, Griner was seen on camera mouthing trash-talking the white girl as she left the court. The video was really clear. Several specialists verified the lip reading, and the racist motive was clear. However, this is where the narrative takes a turn that no one anticipated. When examining the video, medical experts paid attention to more than just what Griner said. They began analyzing her behavioral patterns and physical attributes. Their findings have shocked the sports health community and prompted inquiries that the WNBA is completely unwilling to address. These are not wild speculations nor conspiracy fantasies. These are qualified medical experts highlighting disparities that require further research.
But apparently, Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. And one of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. It says on here 109 weeks ago, and I believe this was screenshotted and posted a year ago. So quite a while. Let's go ahead and watch this, and we'll talk about what we think after.
Brick, thank you. Get the hell out of here, yo. Jab stepping, it's the brick. Swing and a miss.
Griner's bone structure and muscle development patterns were the first warning sign to draw medical attention. Doctors of sports medicine who focus on gender-related athletic performance began examining her physical attributes. Furthermore, their findings don't align with the normal athletic development of females. Her jaw structure, shoulder width, and general skeleton frame exhibit traits that are incredibly uncommon in biological females, including top athletes. However, the medical analysis went farther. Physicians began analyzing Griner's vocal patterns, biomechanics of her movements, and even her medical history. They found a number of reasons that have resulted in a medical consensus that is definitely disastrous for the WNBA and Griner. Currently, a number of independent medical experts are doubting whether Griner has received the appropriate biological confirmation for participation in female sports.
Is to say that this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors, but specifically the AI detection to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a bare female chest, we have to take this down. It obviously assumed that Brittney was male and therefore being topless on the platform was totally fine. It did not.
There is more to Guerrier's current worry than simply having to deal with the fallout from her racist remarks. It concerns the potential for something much more significant to be revealed by these medical discoveries. According to the doctor's findings, there may be basic issues about her eligibility to play women's sports that have never been adequately looked at or handled. From a medical perspective, here is where things start to get really fascinating. The examination of Griner's topless Instagram photo exposed traits that several medical professionals deemed incompatible with female anatomy. The general torso, muscle definition, and chest revealed patterns that these medical professionals usually identify with male physiology rather than female athletes who have had surgery of any type.
The WNBA's Brittney Griner is in fact a man. And where a lot of this actually surfaced from, and I mean, you guys could probably say like, yo, isn't it obvious? Like her voice, you know, there's a lot of things that you can kind of look towards. However, this video actually resurfaced. It's an Instagram story from, I believe it says 109 weeks ago. I can't see from here, but over 2 years ago, that this video was recorded and it was recently leaked on Twitter. So Kelly, if we can go ahead and play this video, please, and then we'll have a discussion.
By you, Brittney. Let me see something real quick. Brick, thank you. Get the fuck.
Damn.
The inability of Instagram's AI recognition tools to identify the content as female nudity is more than a technical error. It is proof that Griner was not classified as female by automated methods intended to identify biological traits. These AI algorithms are incredibly accurate at recognizing biological sex traits since they have been trained on thousands of photos. It appears that the system recognized male anatomy because it let the content to stay up. Guerrier's injury patterns and recovery periods are also being cited by medical professionals as more proof of their worries. Her capacity to withstand physical strain, recuperate from it, and preserve muscular mass exhibits characteristics linked to sports medicine with male athletes as opposed to female rivals. There are benefits that cannot be negated by training because of the variations in bone density, muscle fiber composition, and general physical resilience. The psychological analysis is just as harmful. Mental health experts who have examined the video of Guerrier's assault on Clark have seen patterns of conduct that point to underlying animosity and rage that beyond typical levels of competitive ferocity. The intentionality of the racist verbal and physical attacks points to psychological problems that may be caused by internal conflict or identity uncertainty. Here's what's actually making Guerrier anxious, though. The medical community is now demanding thorough biological testing to provide a conclusive response to inquiries regarding her eligibility for sports for women. These examinations, which would offer indisputable proof of her biological status, would comprise chromosome analysis, hormone level testing, bone density assessments, and muscle composition research. It is utterly appalling that the WNBA has remained completely silent regarding these medical facts. They've had numerous chances to allay the doctor's worries, request independent testing, or clarify Guerrier's eligibility status in any way. Rather, they continue to shield Griner from any serious repercussions for her actions while pretending that nothing is going on. Additionally, medical experts are questioning the league's testing procedures and verification processes. How is it possible for someone with Guerrier's physical attributes to be accepted into the women's tournament without raising suspicions? What sort of medical records were submitted, and who is in charge of confirming their legitimacy? These are issues that are fundamental to women's sports' competitive integrity. The legal ramifications of these medical disclosures are another factor contributing to Guerrier's anxiety. Years of accomplishments, titles, and records could be invalidated if it turns out that she has been competing under false pretenses. Just the financial ramifications might be disastrous due to possible lawsuits from other athletes who were passed over by someone who wasn't qualified to compete. Experts in sports medicine are pointing out that the physical benefits Griner displays are more than just small variations. There is unfair competition due to these basic biological advantages. Through training or natural development, female athletes just cannot equal the advantages of her height, reach, bone density, and muscle mass. When these advantages are utilized to physically threaten and attack smaller female competitors like Clark, the situation becomes even more dangerous. When examined from a medical perspective, Guerrier's violent actions toward Clark gain new meaningless lens. Guerrier's physical attack on Clark is much more heinous if she has been concealing biological advantages while competing against biological females. It goes beyond simple unsportsmanlike behavior. It might be a biological guy intimidating and hurting a female competition with his superior power. The psychological effects of this incident on other female athletes in the league are also being discussed by mental health specialists. The league's biggest star being physically assaulted and subjected to racial slurs by someone with dubious eligibility sends a message that female athletes are unsafe in their own sport. The psychological harm impacts not just specific athletes, but also the women's basketball community as a whole. The role of the medical community in this concerns that were previously written off as conspiracy theories have gained legitimacy as a result of controversy. It becomes impossible for the league to ignore or sidestep concerns about competitive eligibility once qualified medical professionals begin to voice them. Instead of remaining silent, the scientific evidence calls for examination. If these worries are confirmed, medical professionals are also highlighting the wider ramifications for women's sports. By permitting someone with dubious biological status to compete and win, a precedent could be formed that could lead to similar circumstances in all women's sports. For female rivalry to be intact, there must be distinct biological boundaries that are appropriately implemented. Griner's fear is also connected to the possible criminal ramifications of her attack on Clark. Medical analysis might turn the situation from a simple assault into something far more dangerous if it turns out that she physically attacked a female opponent using biological masculine advantages. When there are notable physical differences between the parties, the legal system views violence extremely differently. Professionals in sports medicine are urging the quick adoption of thorough testing procedures that would confirm each WNBA player's biological condition. The existing framework of it is obvious that self-identification and scant documentation are insufficient to preserve competitive integrity. It is important for female athletes to understand that they are fighting against other biological females rather than against people. The medical disclosures about Griner have hidden benefits, and they also provide fresh insight into her earlier remarks regarding fan reactions and crowd loudness. Her complaints of more scrutiny and attention take on extra significance if she has been concealing anything that a closer look could reveal. It makes more sense to interpret the victim mindset and defensive stance as an effort to divert attention away from awkward inquiries. Additionally, medical experts are examining the larger trend of violent conduct that Griner has exhibited over her professional life. Sports psychologists identify certain behavioral patterns with people who are concealing important information about their identity or eligibility, such as the frequent use of physical intimidation, the tendency to target smaller players, and the seeming pleasure in making opponents uncomfortable. Guerrier's support system in the WNBA is also affected by her panic. The league authorities, coaches, and other athletes who have condoned and permitted her actions could suddenly be involved in a far more serious scandal. Many people may be implicated if the medical data supports the suspicions of many.